Mr. Mayor, we are live and ready.
You ready? Okay. You said yes, I take it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. City Council, Title 18 Land Use Table and Definitions Work Session, Monday, July 27, 2020 at 5 p.m. Meeting comes to order. Go ahead, Cassidy.
So this is the work session of all the work of Title 18 that the planning commission and staff have been working on for the last year and a half. This is a culmination of all the work, and we've seen it before, but we were writing pieces before putting it on an agenda for council's consumption and approval. And we hope that you guys have had a chance to go through it and see if the definitions are applicable, as well as the functionality of the matrix that is in there as a very critical tool for Title 18. So I'll let Heidi go through pick up where we left off 4 weeks ago, I believe. And hopefully after this work session, we'll be ready to put it onto the agenda for approval and acceptance.
All right, thank you, Cassidy. Mr. Mayor, if I may, everybody should have received their packet for the Title 18 work session. And it's very similar to the previous work session. The only changes were the changes mentioned at the last work session about Title 18, the storage yard on page, sorry, I thought I had that in front of me, but I was looking at the wrong one. Storage yard towards the end in the work table. That's page 44. You'll see highlighted under commercial residential is now a permitted use. And on 45, warehouse under commercial is now permitted, and that's in yellow and not conditional as discussed. It just had an extra figure there at the last meeting. So those two changes were made, and if you guys see any additional changes, I would love to hear them.
Also, the commission chair, Polly Carluccio, is on the line as well, and she's available for questions or just general knowledge. So she's a resource that we have online now.
Great. This is Vivian, Mr. Mayor, if I may. Direct a question to Polly. Polly, looking this over, you guys have done a tremendous job. Do you feel confident and satisfied with the document in front of us? This is for Polly.
Hi. Yes, we spent actually months going over this and looking at it item by item. I personally have not seen any changes that you have made. I just got the packet this afternoon and I haven't had a chance to look at it. But basically the whole planning commission was in agreement that at this time, this was what we thought would be good, always subject to change, as you know. But we're pretty confident that we've covered everything that we can.
Great. Heidi, could you repeat the changes that were made? It went a little bit too fast for me.
Sorry about that. Yes, so on page 44 and 45, under storage yard, commercial residential, you'll see there's a P in yellow.
Okay,
And that-
gotcha.
And then on, because I think it was conditional use before, I'd have to double check on that. And then under warehouse on page 45, there's another P in yellow because it was intended to be a P, but in the last packet, it also had a C beside it to show that change. So the
Right.
C for conditional use was removed and it's just a P for permitted.
Perfect, perfect. You know, when I was looking at our zoning or the document that we have that's color coded, which is terrific, I was looking it over, just kind of taking different parcels and running it through this wonderful matrix. But it occurred to me when I was looking at the industrial area where our sewer system is, that's not blocked out as Blue City. Am I missing something there? It's blocked out if I'm looking at the right area. In pink, is that right? No, wait a minute, gray, where am I here? Main Street. Gordon Giles is in that bright orange commercial, and then coming back it's industrial, but where is the cities in that? There's no little, I see the little blue, but I'm not sure what that chunk is. You go down.
I'm looking at the map, Vivian.
Yeah, I'm looking at, I don't know if anybody can see, this is what I'm looking at.
Okay, let me get to the same place that you are.
So I had a question about that lot, and then also where the staging area is down by the Fuel and Lube. Is that not city property? And how is that? That's industrial, I guess, or it's in the business district. Not sure which lot that is of those next to Sylvia Fuel and Lube.
So both areas that you're talking about are industrial.
Okay. But we don't have a marked off as city where the water and sewer, or where the sewer treatment plant is?
I mean, as public and city, like public city.
Uh-huh. Okay, so that's distinguished.
And it's because we use them internally for our infrastructure. So those lots aren't necessarily deemed as public access.
Okay, so we just consider them industrial, owned by the city, whatever lot it might be that the sewer's on.
Right. If you look at the city offices, we're zoned industrial here. It's not public
Same.
use. It's not for public use,
Okay,
if that makes sense.
and is it, thank you, is it one or two lots that are alongside Fuel and Lube that are used as the transportation or
It's
storage? Or
the two gray lots right next to Fuel and Lube.
okay, and so in industrial, that is totally covered with staging area, as I read, I'm sure,
Correct.
within the matrix. Okay, great, great. And one more question, is the commercial, what color is that? That orange color, commercial, can that just have a, when it just says commercial, and it's the orange one, can that have just a residence on it? On the matrix, I was trying to figure that
Holly
out.
and Heidi, you can get a residence on it with a conditional use? Question mark?
So according to this matrix and previous code, it is permitted, yes, that you can have a dwelling unit with an attached residence. And you can also have a dwelling unit with structures containing 5 or more units. That's on page 40. Oh, sorry, what we're looking at industrial. Dwelling units without, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong place. Permitted is a dwelling unit with an attached residential. And if you want to just have a dwelling unit without a commercial purpose, it's a conditional use.
Okay, so if you have a commercial zone lot, you have to get a conditional use permit to just have a home on it, let's say. Is that
I'm
correct?
sorry, I was helping somebody real quickly. Are we talking, refresh my memory, are we talking industrial zone or commercial zone?
No, I'm sorry. No, I had a question about the orange zone, which is labeled commercial.
Oh, okay. According to the commercial zone, if you look on page 43, commercial zone
43.
dwelling units with structures, dwelling unit structures containing 4 or less units is a conditional use. But if it's a dwelling unit structures containing 5 or more units, it's permitted. So if it's a big apartment complex, it's got more than 5 or more than units, then it would be permitted
Okay,
for
so
a
can you
commercial
just,
zone.
okay, can you have a single, that's what I couldn't find. I was going through the matrix and I wasn't seeing it. Maybe you can clarify. So if you just have a single home on it, is that permissible?
No,
A
you would
single,
conditional use.
then you'd have to apply for conditional use
Yes.
because it's, sorry,
Yes, because I think, and the way I'm seeing it, and I might be wrong, Polly may have to correct me, but the way I was seeing it is if you have a dwelling unit structure with 5 or more units, technically that could be construed as a commercial business because potentially that's the opportunity that you are renting out apartments as a business. Whereas dwelling units, structures containing 4 or less units, it is a commercial zone. And if you're just living there as a residence, that would be a conditional use.
okay, so somebody would have to apply for conditional use. So is that clear on here? It had me confused, but it could be just the way I'm reading it. So is it clear to somebody that they would have to, that they would not be allowed to have just a house on a piece of property and be done with it? And that they would know that once they came to the office and say they were going to build something on it, they go through the permit process and dots would be brought out to them, like they had to do a conditional use. Is that correct? So it'd be clarified at that point?
Correct, it could be, and clarified then, and just looking at the matrix, looking at that zone, and then I know it takes a little bit getting used to, but you can see that C is the commercial zone, and if you follow down through the land uses, it states that the dwelling units, structures containing 4 or less are conditional, and structures containing 5 or more are permitted.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
If I may, in home occupation though, it says that it's a permitted use in commercial. If you go down further on that same page, on page 43, it does say home occupation is a permitted use in commercial. So is that a C?
It could be a C, but it's permitted because if you have a dwelling there, then you can have an occupation.
Oh.
You're not going to come into the city
Got it.
office to build a structure for a home occupation because it's in a home. So
Yeah,
the dwelling should technically already be there.
thank you.
okay. Okay.
Oh, here is that land use matrix, if that helps to see up on the screen. And you can see where dwelling unit attached residential here is permitted and conditional. Permitted and commercial. Dwelling unit attached residential with 2 or more units is permitted and commercial. And then dwelling unit structures containing 4 or less units is conditional and commercial. 5 or more units is permitted. If that helps, just to look at it that way.
And then the changes we made were actually when Jeremiah brought it to our attention, we had a discussion about what is the lot across from HEA that I guess it actually belongs to SOS, but Caravan uses it as their staging area across from the police station. Because we were concerned about how that was being used. So the changes that we made, Heidi, I believe were with Jeremiah's questions that he had about those two lots.
Correct, and so that would be on page 44. And since it is commercial residential, on page 44, if you look at freight storage and staging for transportation, it is a P for permitted. Right here. Nope, sorry, that's flammable, right here, not flammable. And that would be under commercial residential, P for permitted.
Right. Yeah, good.
So does council feel comfortable moving this forward to an agenda?
I am. I think it's a great job has been done with it. And as Polly said, we can, as things come up, if we need to, we can change it. But for right now, it seems to be a perfect document to start off on.
Yeah, I agree. I think you guys have done wonders with this.
I concur with that as well.
Yeah, me too. You guys have done a great job.
So once this is done, sorry. Once this is done, then we can go back to discussing our business district, because we need to get this taken care of before we can move forward on our plans for business district. Is that right? I'm trying to remember where chronologically.
Mr. Mayor, if I may. So I do have on my board to have a discussion for a vacancy ordinance after this is gone through. And then I do believe we wanted to discuss a land management plan for city properties as well. So those would come up. Sorry, is my volume being, hold on, let me see if I can fix it real quick. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. So I do have on my board that we were going to have a land management plan discussion and a vacancy ordinance discussion, but we were waiting to have Title 18 completed first.
The commercial business district has already been accepted a few months ago and incorporated into the code.
Right. So we just need to go back, because I think we were going to identify how we can encourage businesses and what we're going to do with existing businesses to encourage them to either develop their business or something. I'm not sure. I'm having an echo. on my- But moving forward with this, I think it's a great document to move forward with the council.
Heidi?
Mr. Mayor, it looks like Paulette would like a chance.
I'm sorry, what?
Polly has raised her hand for a chance to speak.
Okay, go ahead, Polly.
I was just going to say that Heidi and Cassidy, if you're next to each other or the door's not closed, probably why the reverberation is happening.
I have my volume muted when I'm listening off of Heidi's computer and the door is closed.
Okay, then I don't know why it's happening, but it is, and I personally am having trouble understanding what anybody's saying.
I'll turn mine off speaker because it comes through and bounces off the wall, and it'll pick up sound from 200 feet if you're on speaker.
So where are we at with this?
Much better off Dean's.
I think we're ready to take it to council. I think we're all in agreement that it's the document that's well worked over and ready to go forward.
Yeah, I agree.
Everybody agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Sounds like we're all in agreement, Dean.
Okay. So do we want to adjourn? Is there anything else to discuss? Heidi, Cassidy?
It doesn't sound like it. We'll move this to the August 11th council meeting. Thank you guys for your input and your engagement.
Okay, thank you. Meeting's adjourned. Let's see you at council meeting.
See you shortly.
Okay,
So
bye-bye.